Andrew Tate is banned from everything or whatever.
He is banned. Okay, Meta announced he's off Instagram and Facebook. Both of his accounts have been suspended.
And now TikTok. Thoughts?
Yo, but does it stop anything? Because it's not him posting. It's people posting accounts
Apparently
on their
they're
own.
going to be pulling off
You know
accounts that are affiliated with him or that seem to be promoting his content only.
Oh, anything promoting his content.
If it's the way the business worked is that you would have an affiliation link.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So if you're promoting,
to his course.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so there's hundreds of Tate pages.
That's why so many people are making the Tate pages because they can make money off.
Yeah,
it.
it's like a pyramid scheme.
Is that I don't know if it's a pyramid scheme. No, I'm curious.
MLM is the business term I always hear, but I thought that's essentially a pyramid scheme where you buy my course and then anybody you refer to, you get 50% of the money, which is actually a lot of money. That's pretty generous. But then he gets 50% of everybody. You know what I mean? So he gets his share and he gets rich. But that's called a multi-level marketing.
Multi-level marketing, yeah. Like Mary Kay, Herbalife.
But I thought pyramid, and again, I don't know, but I thought pyramid scheme is where like eventually someone gets fucked.
Okay.
In this, I don't think anybody gets fucked.
Okay.
Well, it depends if it all falls out. Like the people at the bottom, once it gets big enough and they can't refer more people, if you have to buy into it, you're investing money and you're losing money to buy like the product up front.
But you still get the course.
Yeah, and so you're out, what, $200 as opposed to Bernie Madoff? Where you're
like
out?
the pyramid schemes will be like more and more money. It'd be like, obviously Bernie Madoff's like your life savings, your pension or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, Ponzi scheme.
But that's a Ponzi scheme.
Okay.
That's a
You're
little
thinking
bit.
of Ponzi scheme.
Right.
Yeah, maybe that. But even with this one, it's like, if you're paying to sell these things, that seems like a scheme. But you're paying for access to these course.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's something immoral about this.
That's why it's multi-level marketing, I think.
Yeah, and I don't think that that's that bad. If you had to buy in so that you could sell, that's fucked up because eventually, like you're saying, you run out of people to sell, and now you're paying for this thing that you can't do.
Yeah.
But if there's value in this thing, and that's up to the person that's purchasing it, I don't think that's like, I don't think he's like hurting people. Well, yeah, I don't think he's hurting people by doing this.
It depends on what the content is. If the content is hurting people, then it's hurting
Exactly. Yeah, but the structure of the business itself, I don't think is like taking advantage.
I was just going off of the way, hey, you refer two people, then they refer two people, and that's a pyramid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why scheme or
yeah.
not, I don't know. It's a scheme in that it's a plan. The scheme isn't a scam.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, here's the way we're doing this.
Yeah,
this is our plan of action.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, what a fascinating...
I mean, it's so fucking smart to take that to TikTok. This is an idea that's existed, multi-level marketing or whatever it's called. But like to do that on TikTok, honestly, you can hate his content all you want to. That idea is going to be replicated. It's already starting to be replicated by so many people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was looking at that like, why didn't I just make a bunch of fake accounts posting my content? The fuck, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah,
it's right there. Smart move.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's smart.
Now they just crushed his business like that.
Well, that's because the shit he's promoting people don't like. But if you're promoting stand-up,
Some people do like it.
Some people love it, but a lot of people don't like it.
Yeah.
I guess that the corporation is concerned about. But if you're promoting like a motivational speech or some shit like that, like if a Tony Robbins were to do this,
exactly.
Like,
That'd be
But
sick.
the platform
the
wouldn't
question
take
is,
issue.
would it work for Tony Robbins, or does it need to be this salacious?
It helps to
Definitely
be
helps
salacious.
it being salacious.
It helps to be salacious. But I think Tony Robbins also, those guys speak to something internal. Like you're feeling insecurity for the first time in your life. Some people feel that more often. And when they hear motivational shit, that grabs them. So if they do that and it helps and they start promoting more Tony Robbins content, it'll grab not as much, but it'll still grab and grow.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of salvation. Like if you can be someone's guru. And I think for Andrew Tate, a lot of people, he was their guru.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious what happens with him.
But yeah, I that's my thing though. Is like I don't love his content, but I also don't know if he should be kicked off platforms. Unless he's using the platform to do crime. So like if he's using social media to try to like recruit women for a webcam thing that seems like quasi-illegal, then I can understand why the corporation would be concerned. But just for like internet misogyny, which obviously misogyny is not good. If he's being serious, like if it's a joke, then it's a different thing. It's like artistic. But if he's being serious and like he's being genuinely misogynistic, I don't know if that's grounds. I guess the company could do whatever they want because they're private. But like for me personally, I'm like, should that be grounds?
I think the tricky thing is when he starts like, or someone in his position starts affecting culture.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's probably what they're concerned about. I saw a conversation, I think it was, I got to credit Gideon.
Mm-hmm.
Gideon? Gideon.
Gideon?
Is that how you pronounce it?
I pronounce it Gideon.
Gideon. He had an interesting point about, he goes, when kids go back to school, you're going to see the repercussions.
That's the video that made, because I've always just, it's funny and I didn't think people took it seriously, but then I don't know if this is real or not, but some teacher is saying, like, I teach 6-year-olds and you can hear the boys saying, like, to girls, like, you're fat, you need to lose weight, you don't have any worth if you're not skinny. And it's like, oh,
who knows if this is going to happen?
And you don't know if it's true or not.
Well, let me just say the point that Gideon was saying. He was basically saying, like, it's summer right now, so the kids aren't in school. Once they go back to school, they're going to be interacting with girls. And they're going to start saying the things that they've heard and the red pill shit that has gone across the internet, et cetera. So now.
Yeah. So whether or not that's true, that some teacher had that TikTok and it's like, oh, fuck, if that is true and that does happen, that's sad. You don't want to see that shit happening with kids, man. Yeah. I mean, he is, the thing that makes him so sticky is he's funnier than all of those guys. And he's a more unique thinker in the sense that, like, the way he can present his ideas, you haven't heard him present it like
Also, a lot of it is
yes, he's
true.
not dumb.
Like, a lot of what he says, like, will have semblances of truth, but it's also tied in with, like, crazy vitriol and, like, lies or things like that I think would make people frustrated.
I mean,
Or it's, like, inflammatory. It's intentionally inflammatory.
It's intentionally inflammatory. But, yeah, you can say something that's true that's, like, not... I don't want to call it disgusting, but like it's unfortunate. There's a lot of truths that are unfortunate.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to take a break from this exclusive Patreon clip because I got to tell you all about Surfshark. Surfshark is a modern VPN designed with the user in mind. Their utilities are powered by robust security mechanisms, but designed to be simple and intuitive to use. Enjoy all the freedoms of an open internet safely and anonymously with no device limits. Think about this. Strictly no logs means that they don't keep your data. You can unlock the 15 largest Netflix country libraries, including the US and Japan, by merely connecting to a server in the right country, okay? Also, reach your favorite sites and services, even in countries that ban them, as Surfshark bypasses censorship and geo-blocking to give you access to Facebook in China or TikTok in the US. And remember this, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, which gives users plenty of time to try out Surfshark risk-free. That's how confident that they are that you're gonna love it. So right now, get 83% off a 2-year plan and 3 extra months for free. Go to surfshark.deals/Schulz, that's SCHULZ, and use the code Schulz, SCHULZ, to get 83% off a 2-year plan and 3 extra months for free. Protect yourself online today. Now let's get back to this exclusive Patreon clip. Join our Patreon, patreon.com/flagrant. A lot of truths unfortunate. And that's the problem when, like, you try to, like, create a society that, I don't want to say that it's like exists on lies, but sometimes the wokeness goes to a point where it's like we all know we're kind of lying, and it's okay that we're lying because it allows society to be lubricated in
social
that way.
lubrication, yeah.
Exactly, right? So it's just like, yeah, we should be more accepting. We should do all these things. This is good. And then there's an extreme to that where you have like obese models, and it's like, okay, we all know that that's not the ideal makeup for a woman's body.
Yeah.
We all know that that's not healthy.
Yeah.
Right?
Not that skinny models are super healthy, but
they're just as unhealthy.
And we have conversations about this is too
talk
skinny.
About it. Yeah, we said this is fucking gross. But the acceptance gets morphed into what's more than acceptance? It's almost like a manipulation tactic.
Yeah.
So
it's an intolerance of anybody pointing out logical things.
Yeah. So it's almost like, and you see these figures pop up when this happens, and I wonder if like you could even chart it. It's like Trump can only exist if politicians become so fraudulent. Right?
Yeah.
That he comes out and he's like a beacon of light.
Yeah.
Like he's just talking normal when all these people are doing their like little talking points.
Yep.
And when they start to go in their talk, like listening to Ted Cruz and Donald Trump talk on the same stage is like one of the most like mind-boggling experiences I've ever seen, because it's like you're watching a cartoon and then a person.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you're like it's just like, wait, what has happened? Like, does he really think that that's how you communicate to people?
Yeah.
I'm talking about like the Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
I think that hardworking American, da 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 da. And this guy's like, what are you talking about? His wife's fat.
Yeah.
And you're like,
yeah.
it's like, who framed Roger Rabbit? It's like, how do humans and cartoons exist in the same world?
And Trump is not being fully authentic and saying fully honest things, but he speaks to that lizard brain part of us, that primal part of us.
Yeah,
in a way
he's
that
talking
reads
just as much shit.
Yeah, it reads way more authentic than this guy. You look at that guy and you're like, that guy's a product.
Yeah.
And this guy is speaking to me on an emotional level that seems way more authentic than this.
Yeah, it's like when you see like a shitty comic go up or like a good comic go up and then a shitty one follows it. And all of a sudden like everything you see from that comic just seems like so fabricated and like structured. And you're just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Now, if you didn't see that good comic go before, you'd be like, oh, this is funny. That was good. A little misdirection thing, or that was cute. But once you saw the real, it's hard. Now, obviously with Trump, he's spouting bullshit too.
Yeah.
But something happens about that. It's like you can't extend the things that we all know not to be true too far.
Yeah.
Because it opens up the door for these types of people, the Trumps, the Tates. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think the same group of people that are creating Tate, that are the, hey, you have to accept everyone, everything is okay. If you have any problem with any of this, you're a monster.
Yeah.
That created Tate. I think that also created Trump, not just fake politicians, but everybody's like, no, you have to tolerate everything. White men are born evil. There's nothing you do to help it. We got books saying white people are inherently evil. That seems crazy. So when one guy comes along and is like, yo, you're not inherently evil.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, and they're fuck all this tolerance. They're like, yo, that guy. That's my guy. I've been waiting for some, and even I said this in a bit of mine, but like it festers and it gets dark and it gets angry because you don't get to let it out ever and express it. And then he's saying in the angriest way, speaks to how dark it's gotten.
Yeah. So then what should we do? What is like the...
Well, that's my thing. Like,
it kind of tolerates some intolerance, I think.
Blanket censorship with that kind of a thing, like I feel like we'll just draw more attention in the short term. And maybe in the long term, it washes it out completely. But I'm like, if you're a social media company and you don't want to have certain people posting on your platform, I don't know why. And again, I don't know if this is ethical, but just from their perspective, why not just like silently throttle? You know what I mean? Like,
They do.
But I'm saying, like, why not just do that with all Tate content? Let's say Instagram doesn't like his content. And they're
so
like,
it just makes it look like...
and like TikTok, like they're like, oh, we don't want 12 and 15-year-olds going to school, like listening to this shit. So let's just take his content off. Like the algorithm is strong enough that they understand who's talking and what content is. So like they could just throttle it and take it off of the people they don't want.
Then you kind of galvanize him if he's still able to be on the platform and he's obviously being throttled. Now it's like you're going to champion all his fans like, yo, look.
We're going to go even harder now. Yeah.
But I guess how can you prove that someone's obviously being throttled?
I mean,
if you're just like, oh yeah, your content's not hitting the same. You haven't changed
TikTok in
like,
particular, you got no control over how that algorithm, you just put some shit up and you're like, I guess this goes, I guess this doesn't. I've heard everybody say, maybe not you as much, but they're like, there's so many videos I thought would go crazy and then did not. And so many random videos I thought wouldn't do anything and went crazy. None of us get the algorithm. So TikTok can throttle the easiest.
Yeah. But I think with somebody like him, you kind of have to just remove it altogether. Because it's like, especially if his game plan is getting people to repost his shit, it's never going to die down unless it's off. And
because it's not even coming from his account.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the beauty to for his system is that if you block him, it does nothing.
Yeah.
He doesn't post any of these videos.
Yeah, I'm not even online. What are you hitting me for?
Yeah.
So you kind of have to throttle or cancel.
I guess the big greater question is what he's saying grounds to take him off the platform.
I don't know everything he said. I've heard a couple things that are just like...
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know what the constitution of the platform is.
I don't want to get into like telling people they can't say whatever they want, et cetera, especially if they're like doing it with a sense of humor. But, and I haven't heard everything that Tate said, but he has said some really funny fucking things. I think it's just interesting that like, this is always the reaction to extreme wokeness.
Yes.
Right? And I'm sure you look at history, like extreme intolerance probably creates the same version.
Yeah.
Like there's a Tate that is extremely accepting and welcoming and kind, you know? And I wonder if like that's...
Hippie movement in the 60s.
Is the hippie in the movement 60s comes right after, like this is the generation of kids that grew up and were born World War II.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is post World War II, super conservative, nuclear family.
Segregated, super repressed.
Intolerant to everything. All of a sudden, the hippies, they're intolerant to, free love for everybody. Yeah, the parents are coming back. These dudes are shell-shocked. They don't even know how to fucking hug their kid. They're just waking up in the middle of the night screaming, drinking their fucking asses off. And all of a sudden, I love you. I love everybody. It is what it is. So I guess it always swings, right? But so maybe the version to control this, if we're like constructing society, is like it's censorship on the extreme of both ends. Once you start like positioning obese chicks as like healthy, then you're part of these social media companies go, yo, I think we gotta cancel some of these obese chicks are healthy accounts because if we let that go on too long, then we're gonna have these motherfuckers that come up and they're just like, bitch, you're fat, shut the fuck up, stop eating donuts.
Yeah.
Right? And on the other side, you know, if intolerance is getting too popular, we got to cancel some of those accounts because then all of a sudden these hippies are going to come
I mean,
back.
the accounts that are like, yo, white people are born evil, that's just who you are.
Yeah.
That's intolerance. You can cancel that.
Yes.
You have grounds to cancel that.
Right.
And I think the reason they make these things public, honestly, is it quiets down outrage against us. It's all fucking PR for all of these companies.
Yeah.
You have billions of dollars on the line.
Yeah,
You
it's
have just constant PR. man.
advertisers, yeah.
So I could silently ban Andrew Tate or throttle Andrew Tate, but then I don't get the PR of saying, hey, we banned Andrew Tate.
Oh,
So
you
we
think
care.
they want the PR?
I think they
Yeah.
want the PR of saying we did the right thing. In the same
'cause
way, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but you're saying they're being criticized for allowing it on
Yes.
the platform. So
Right.
they need the PR
Yes.
boost
And
by canceling.
alt-right funnels and like that kind of thing.
What is that? Oh, you're funneling
or like
people into
alt-right
this
pipelines
ideology.
and shit like that. That your red pill, funny TikTok clip is actually a wormhole into joining
You know, it's funny.
neo-Nazi group or some shit.
We were talking about this a little bit before. What is funny is that like a lot of these kids are just experiencing things that like young adults
Yeah.
experience, and
Yeah.
and unfortunately they're getting like rewarded for it, and they may not have the time to like evolve and then grow out of it. You touched on this with the Fresh and Fit
Yeah.
guys, right? And you thought that they were a little bit old. They should have evolved
Yeah,
and grown out of
right.
it. But maybe they reached it at a later time because their maybe development was stunted from
Fair.
stuff,
Yeah.
when they were
Absolutely.
younger. But yeah, I think guys go through a frustrating time where the ideology of Tate or the ideology of certain people in the manosphere makes a lot of sense to them. I mean, I definitely felt it when I was younger.
100%.
It's like the thing that you want more than anything is not in your control at all.
Mhm.
Like you want to get laid, right? Maybe that wasn't exactly the same with you guys.
I still wanted the
obviously.
validation of a pretty girl that I want to marry or whatever.
100%.
Yeah.
And that at its core is like very real. I think all dudes can relate to this. Like we want these girls to validate us. And then the feeling of either not being good enough, not having enough resources. I'd imagine if you look at the people that are into the manosphere stuff, it's like younger-ish guys who probably are not that financially secure.
Yeah.
Nobody with like tons of money and success is tapping into the manosphere stuff because it's like, well, you're getting pussy. And at the end of the day, I either want to find out how to get pussy or I want a reason why girls aren't fucking me. So it's either here's the trick to get laid or see these bitches, all they care about are these things and those things are horrible and I don't have them, so fuck them.
Yeah.
They're a bunch of money-hungry bitches.
Or even like what Mark said, which I thought was really poignant on that episode, is I feel like you guys are good guys who got like played by girls or whatever, and then you get hurt, and then your reaction is, oh, it's not my fault. These women are X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Fuck all of them.
And I think what happened, at least I know it's happened with me, I know for a fact it's happened with you, I imagine as well, is like you get a little bit older, and it was probably later for me than you guys, well, definitely, but you get a little older, and then you find like a great like woman,
Yeah.
and it's really hard to harbor any animosity.
Yeah.
Like you can still see women being annoying. We're gonna have jokes about women, just like we're gonna have jokes about fucking Latinos. We're gonna have jokes about everybody. Everybody gets these jokes, but the feeling of I am completely powerless in the ability to get validation from this group of people that means so much to me.
Right.
You have that woman that loves you more than anything in the world, and all of a sudden you're not out here trying to stump and fight, and the men are killing themselves every day. And,
Yeah.
you get the feeling earlier,
Yeah.
but you will grow out of it. My concern is, are people like tattooing themselves by becoming famous, by red pilling and becoming like a famous red pill guy? You're eventually gonna evolve out of it. It happened.
Yeah.
I went through. You look at even my earlier stand-up.
Yeah.
I didn't go through it I'm gonna rant on this fucking look into a stream and rants. Like I created art out of it, but you eventually evolve out of it. What happens now that you have thousands of videos of you on the internet saying these things that you won't believe in 2 years? You're gonna have a girl that you love, and you're gonna look back and you're like, what the fuck was I thinking?
Right.
I was just insecure, and I wasn't getting the girls that I want to get, and there was hotter chicks I think I deserved, but they weren't showing me any attention or love. They were just dating these crypto guys. Like now that thousands, maybe tens of thousands of videos exist of you on the internet saying the worst thing, that's a tattoo, man.
Yeah. Not to mention if you built an audience around it and your financial sustainability is dependent on it.
Can you go on that
Then
a
it's
little bit
like,
long?
okay, I've built a manosphere audience where all of my audience wants me to talk shit about women.
Yeah.
And now I've obviously got married. I had a daughter. I don't view women in the way that I used to, but my audience wants me to keep on saying this shit.
You have a lifestyle built around the money that's coming in from that audience.
Do I pivot and try to turn a different direction and try to pull some of the audience with me? Inevitably, a lot of them will fall off and find the next person if they haven't grown up with me in the same way. And then I lose that percentage of my money. or I just implode my whole audience altogether. And like that's really scary, especially because the time that you're doing it is once you've built a family. So it's like now I have a family.
And I got to support my family.
Now I'm about to be as financially unstable as I've ever been because I'm turning my back on my audience that has built me up.
And if you don't, now your wife is all embarrassed. You got to answer these questions every 2 seconds. Like, how do you deal with the crazy things? These guys. So now you got to hide your wife and your kids from the world so they don't got to deal with the fact that you're being fraudulent. Because if you really believe in that shit, run it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Have her defend it.
Yeah.
It's I wonder if people. One of the great things about the internet is we get to put our art out there, we get to put our comedy out there, we get to put our content, podcasts, have so much fun. One of the tricky things about it is that it's on the blockchain now.
Yeah.
Like your evolution is there. And it might be harder to evolve if one, your finances are back to these beliefs that you will grow out of. 100% you will grow out of.
Yeah.
And if you don't grow out of them, then maybe you never found that person that is gonna love you in a way that you didn't know that you could be loved.
I think you and the people, I think, put more value in authenticity than a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think most of social media is an inauthentic version of ourselves just to try to get validation or money or whatever. So I don't think these guys are as concerned about being inauthentic when they evolve, when they grow, whatever. They deal with that. They hide their wife. They hide their daughter. They don't talk about it.
Yep.
They just make their videos. They don't care about being authentic. They just want validation, fame, money. A lot of them.
Everybody wants it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We wanted to, and I think on this podcast, we try to be authentic. Through stand-up, we try to be authentic.